I thought I'd start this part of the video with the actual drawing that we're trying to make for the arched panes at the top of the window. And I'll now remove that and use this as the template for what we're actually going. So this is where we start with the window panes that we'd already constructed in place, and this is the area where we're going to commence taking measurements. For the next part of the video, I'm using what I'll call the exploded view method of demonstration. This will make it quicker to make the video for you to see. I've constructed all the parts that are required to get all the key measurements ready for the window panes. So the first thing I did was this archway is the key because that is the outer edge. So the panes must be inside. So I double checked this, and the way I got that measurement was drawing boxes, and that shows that that was 18.6. I then created that arc. The way to do that is press select and circle. These indicators come up, so press on the circle, draw a circle of any size. It won't be perfect circle. Click on select, and you'll then be able to alter the width and height of the circle. Sometimes they're perfect, sometimes they're not. So just unlock it and type in 18.6. Go to the height and change that to 18.6. Now lock that in there. Now double click on the circle. You'll see a number of handles. The circle handle is the one you want here. Then draw like that, just drag it round until you've got it perfectly aligned. Then you need to go to this icon, which is the unclosed shape arc. So we press on that and we're left with the arc. Press select again, and then you've got the access to be able to flip this. So these flip buttons are here. So just a couple of clicks and double check, and that's how I made that arc. Now, why is that so important? Well, I took some other key measurements as to where the arcs really need to go. One needs to go from there, so we'll do that one next. I measured that with a box, and it was 16.9. So I can now take the arc that I've made, and I can change that now to 16.9. So make sure this is locked. 16.9. And it will make a small version of the 18.6, and as you can see, it's a perfect radius. We then duplicate, ready for the next one. The next measurement was 9.9 because that's where I want another arch, and that's there. And as you can see, that gives us the width of that box and a gap of 0.9 in the middle. So therefore that's the next one we want. So we then click on there, change that to 9.9. Again, in the width, 9.9. And you can see that it's actually fading and you can't see it as clearly. So just click on that, go to the stroke style on here. If you haven't got the stroke open, just go to Object and Fill, and Stroke will open that menu. So click on the stroke style and change that to 0.1. That will make it a lot clearer. Duplicate, and you've got the next one ready. Now this one needs to be 7.9, and the way I calculated that was that I want an arc from there to there. That was 7.9. So again, repeat the process, 7.9. Now we have all of the component parts that I need to start with. I then decided that above here, as all these gaps were 1 mil, I then made a box 1 millimeter wide and placed on top of there because that is where I need that to be a gap. This will allow me to place these arcs in place. I can then show where I want the arcs to be cut by this, which I want a 1 millimeter gap through the middle. So the first thing is to draw a line. And again, I won't show how to draw lines because we've been doing that in all of the previous videos, and align that. I can then align the next one. And if you put the snapping tool on, you can draw this line and then place it perfectly in the center. And the way to do that is to just drop this into here, and you can see how it will align it exactly to the center. So you've got the center line in there. So we'll turn the snapping tool off, and I'll drop that in there anyway. But you can use the snapping tool to get that exact, and that one is in place. So now we have ready to place all of these except the top one, because that's the outer arch. We take the next one and we can drop that one in there and align it with the two corners there. And that shows that it is a perfect match. Now that is where this part here, this little gap, will show as a window frame. Take the next one. And drop that in. And the next one. Now we have a lot of the key components that we need. These arcs actually show where the frames will be. The bottom corner here will be one pane. This will be one pane. But this part here will need to be split in two, and this split in two. So these are only guidelines. The next thing I've done is to say, well, let's build the arcs to go in those places. And if we rest that on the line there, which is the 1 mil gap, we can see that we're going to need an arc like that. But again, that will be split in two for the two panes. The 0.5 will show the bottom half of the arc, and the 3.5 will show the arc, which is the very bottom bit, which can form one pane. I've now removed all of the parts we don't need. The next is to find the center of this arc. The way to do that was I made a box, square, which can rest in here, right to the center. Now center to center was 8, as you can see. So what I did from there, I then drew a line directly from that corner out over, which then gave me the center that I require. I can now take the box away, and we are left with the indicator for where the center is. Now there's no need to do both sides, because when we've finished one side, we will duplicate and flip for the other side, then there will be a perfect match. These boxes will allow me to make perfect arcs for the window frames themselves. So I'm just going to double check this one. And this one fits in there, which will give me an arc from there to there in the box. So we take that away. And now we check the 3.5, which will be the very bottom quadrant. The bottom quadrants are the easiest to make, and that one fits as well. Well, we'll take a break there, and in the next video I'll show the actual construction of all of the 4 window panes for the top arch and the 2 for the bottom. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you soon. Thank you.